What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Kenny Parker Show on a super hot 100-degree day in the New York City area, y'all. It is baking, as you can see. I'm a little, a little flustered right now, and I just walked in the door and just escaped the rain, which makes it even better. We do this every Tuesday and Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Big up to the early regular crew. We didn't have that much early regulars today because, like I said, I just got in minutes before the show. Um, Boom, Spook Realm 4Q. You are first in the building. So, as usual, so let's knock this out. PSA rule number one, if you don't have the book, get the book. My brother's name is Kenny, the true origin story of BDP. My family, KRS Kenny Parker. I got a bunch of behind the scenes stories in there, and a lot of the questions you guys asked me is in the book. The link is in the description below. Get the book. Rule number two, please, as Tracy will hopefully remind us later on, hit the thumbs up button. It helps the algorithm to bring more like-minded people into the channel. Last but not least, big up to the mighty, massive Rewind crew who's going to check this out later on. Okay, let me sip some more of this. Yo, I just came in a little while ago, so I cut the air on, and it's kicking in, but it hasn't kicked in yet. So I'm gonna sweat it out until things start feeling a little better. Let me make this a little bit bigger so I can see. Kenneth Smith, what up? MK Ultra. Yeah, man. What up, KP Friday Live crew? Stay cool, hydrated, and blessed this weekend. Word. Well, it's always blessed every weekend, please. But I love warm weather. I don't know if I mentioned it on this channel. I despise wintertime. I like it hot, shorts, t-shirt, but 100 degrees plus is dangerous. So please stay hydrated. And for those, heat stroke, heat related illnesses, it sneaks up on you fast. You don't feel it until once you start to get the symptoms, it comes on you really fast. So please, y'all, stay cool and hydrated if you can. China Doll, what up, Sid? Peace to the chat room. Happy Friday. Yes. Gregory Netta says it's 103 here in Queens, New York. Stay hydrated. Word. Yeah, man. Rock Justice, what up? DJ Joey Joe. Tracy. Sydney Rhodes. So if you heard I was celebrating, it's a worldwide lie, Public Enemy. PE gave us so many jewels to chew on growing up. Let's see. Chandra says, storming in Jersey. Be safe out there. I feel my building shaking. And of course, they didn't say anything about rain today earlier. But with this kind of heat, you know it's just going to be a matter of time before the rain comes through at the end of the day. I'm trying to get all my drink in, y'all. Scott down, Buffalo in the house. It's probably snowing in Buffalo right now. Yeah, Tracy says, I'm so with you, Spook. I hate the cold, and this past winter was brutal. Brutal. It was freezing in the metropolitan area. Joey says, I heard tomorrow will be the hottest NYC has been in 10 years. Hotter than today? Shit. Uh, I hope the Heat did not get Kenny. It did not, but it tried. Mark Thompson, what up? The Real Chef Daddy, what up? Henry Sedilla, what up? Johnny Lee, what up? Rosmel, what up? Rodden Dirty Faces, KP, salute. Salute to you. You are super regular. Thank you for the stream as always. Super chat. Yeah, man. Uh Ilroy the MC. Come down, Kenny Parker. Philly Sheed, microphone check 1, 2. What is this? The 5-foot assassin with the roughneck business. Big up the Fife dog. Um, I got a funny Fife dog on this store on this channel. I don't think many people have seen it. It was when I first did the channel, so it's like 3 years ago. I have a really funny story about hanging with Fife. I've hung with Fife on a few occasions. Even before he came out, before Tribe was really no, I met him when Tribe was out. But on the first album, he wasn't really featured, so he wasn't big yet. I met him when El Segundo was out. Yeah, yeah, I think I met him when El Segundo was out. Um, Fife was with us. Fife was chilling in the studio when we was working on Heather B's album. Um, Her album Taking Mine. One of the songs, I can't remember what song we was working on, but Fife Dog, we was in D&D and Fife Dog stuck his head in the building. And he came in, hold up, y'all. And he came in and chilled with us too and everything. Should have tried to get him on a song. This was in 95. Rappers weren't jumping on a lot of rappers' songs at that point. They were, but um, I should have asked Fife to jump on, man. Epic fail. He was in the studio chilling for like 2 hours in the booth, in the room. Silk Child, of course. What's good, KP? Much love, bro. Friday. Everybody push the like, share, support the brother. Thank you. Let's see. E Styles, what up? Sweet Goldilocks, what's up? Rich Shot, Stick Up Kids is out to tax. I got a story about everything. I remember DJ Premier when Gangstar was new, relatively new. Their first really big record. I mean, Manifest was a big rap record, but the second, the third, well, I think it's their third, considered their third album, they dropped Just to Get a Rep. And Stick Up Kids is out to tax. First of all, that video was fire. Shout out to Little Dap, who was an antagonist in the video. This is before we knew who he was. Shout out Dap. Shout out Black, for those that know the Gangstar Foundation. Shout out Black. That was Gangstar's first big record. I mean, like I said, Manifest was big, but Just to Get a Rep was a nationwide song. And I remember I saw Guru in a club. Matter of fact, it was a Puff Daddy party. What was this club? It was called Daddy's House, the Red Zone. For those that used to hang out in New York, this is 91, the Red Zone was popping. Everybody was in the Red Zone. Funkmaster Flex was on the wheels and Clark Kent. This was before Flex was on Hot 97. And I saw Guru in the Red Zone. And I was like, congratulations on Just to Get a Rep, and he was like, yo, man, he was sad. He was like, I finally get a big record, man. And we had all of these shows in Europe, bunch of money. Record is really big out there. And the Gulf War happened, like right at that time. Uh, I think Iraq invaded Kuwait, and then there was the Gulf War. It was around that time, and everything was shut down. And Guru was like, "Damn, all our shows got canceled overseas, man," and he was so sad. Um, and when you say stick up kids, it's out to tax. That's the first thing came to my mind is Guru with a sad face because he lost a bunch of shows. Rest in peace to my dog Guru. He used to hang out a lot. I used to see him out and about quite a bit. I remember one time I got Guru in a club. They was acting funny at the door. This is when Manifest was out. They didn't know who he was, and I had a little connect at the door, and I'm like, this is. Back then we used to call him Gangstar. Uh, I didn't know, well, we didn't know, I didn't know that Gangstar was two people, Guru and Premier. I thought his name was Gangstar, MC Gangstar. So I was like, yo, this is Gangstar. I was telling the dudes at the door, and they was like, all right, and they let him in. Um, I believe this kid that I went to high school with was doing security at the door. So, I was good. So when I said Guru was good, he let Guru in. I remember that too. Anyway, let me move on from Guru. Rest in peace to the great Keith. Um, Roger Justice said Olivia Miles is doing her thing. She's going to mess around and be Rookie of the Year. She ain't messing around. She's starting in the All-Star game as a rookie. She's averaging 18. What's she averaging? 18 and 6? Who saw that coming? For those that follow the WNBA. I was not really an Olivia Miles fan at Notre Dame. I thought she was too reckless with the ball. I like steady point guards. She took a lot of chances. And then she transferred to TCU. But yo, they look like the pros is tailor made for her right now. She's killing it. Um, Robert Trower, a piece of Kenny Parker. Your book came. Oh, dope. I'm on chapter 2. Thank you, boy. You got a lot of crazy stuff that's about to happen if you're on chapter 2. Thank you so much for purchasing the book. Um, so much is about to happen. Oh man, I don't recognize this name. I am, I am. Peace and blessings to the each of you. Yes. Uh, Kenny Parker, can we rant on LeBron James coming to the Knicks? I just got in a little while ago, so I haven't seen all of the headlines. I just saw that the Lakers traded Ayton for like 2 draft picks, second round draft picks. Yo, they are cleaning shop in LA. But I saw this LeBron James to the Knicks kind of picking up a little steam, but I think that's just talk. I mean, I haven't seen unless this already happened. Um, the Knicks don't have any money. That's why they had to let Mitch Robinson go. And they say unless LeBron's gonna sign for the vet minimum, if LeBron James jumps from the Lakers onto the championship team trying to chase the ring, that's going to be disgusting. I think that would hurt him more than help him. And the Knicks don't need him. Um, but we'll see. I don't have any information. So if that's true, you guys let me know. Patrick Y, what up? Northeast BX. LeBron will not be missing LA. It's funny. That seems to be the general consensus that real Laker fans never embraced LeBron like he wanted them to. I mean, they cheered for him, whatever. He got them a ring uh, in the bubble, which I consider a real ring. I don't like when people be like, it's a bubble ring. It's a ring, man. Everybody played under the same conditions, and the Lakers won. But I felt like he went over there to try to be beloved like Kobe or be bigger than Kobe in LA. I don't know what the reason it was to go there. but it seemed like LA never really embraced him. I feel like Luca is more embraced in the past year and a half than LeBron's 8 years. But his 8 years has been plagued with everything around LeBron is like a circus, man. Even now, like, where's LeBron gonna go? It's a circus. I don't know. LeBron is a great, great, great player. Some argue the greatest of all time. I would not argue that, but he's up there. He's right up there. Um, but I've never been a fan of LeBron. There's too much other narratives surrounding his play over the past 20 years. But we'll never see another LeBron James. Um, he actually came into the NBA with probably the most hype ever, at least since Jordan came in the league in '84, and LeBron came out of high school. He's the most hyped high school player of all time, and he was the most hyped youngster coming into the league, and he actually surpassed the hype. But I'm just not a fan. I think LeBron makes a great villain, though. In like a story narrative, he's a great villain. Super chat. Dirty Face said, happy birthday to Buckshot. That's my man. One of my favorite MCs of all time. 1974. I saw him on Bass Bars doing a rendition of Who Got the Props and Buck 'em Down, released yesterday. I would love to see that. Two records that I loved. Um, Buckshot is one of my favorite. Into the Stage is one of my favorite albums ever, y'all. Ever, ever, ever. And Dell says, KP, the El Segundo album, A Tropical Quest, is my favorite. Yeah, People's Instinctive Travels. I like the remix to El Segundo with Fife chatting on it, and they used what they used, the reggae beat, Chase Vampire. Um, I like that. They hate El Segundo apparently. That song did not do well for Tribe, and it had them off to a shaky start. Um, that song had mixed reviews, and then they dropped Bonita Applebomb, and the rest is history. Uh, let's see. Say what now? What's up, Kenny? Tribe Low End Theory is the vibe tonight. About to throw that on. Well, to me, that's always the vibe. That's a top 5 all-time album for me. And like Tribe, I'm a super Native Tongue fan. For those that are regulars to the channel, say what? And Tribe is probably my favorite group of all time. Um, so any Low End Theory talk, I'm with it. Dre Stack Dollars, what up? Um, Look who's in the building. Let me get some more of this hydration. Anyway, what up? Um, Deacon Strange, yo, Kenny P, what's good? What's good, man? Long time, yeah. Deacon Strange shouldn't be. City Road, just to get a rep, one of my favorite videos. Dope video at that time too. You know, at that time they weren't big budgets for videos, so video directors had to do a lot with a little, and they did a great, great job. Um, um, with that video, they did a great job with a little bit of money. I find it hilarious that in the early days, Fife couldn't stand Vanilla Ice. Well, a lot of MCs couldn't stand Vanilla Ice. Um, Crusher Blackwell says Brownstone's original member Nikki Gilbert, I met her before, stated that Young Miami Spin That, which is the #1 song out at the moment, yes it is, might be the song of the summer, should be boycotted. Should never be granted a Grammy nomination. Nah, I don't agree with that. I mean, we could talk about that song. First of all, Young Miami, I'm not really familiar with her, but I know she has a connection to the Diddler, and there's some controversy there. However, you know, people try to force songs to be the song, and they try to program you. Program directors try to program you into liking certain things, and it works for the most part. But every so often, a song will just come out of seemingly nowhere and stick. And this song, Spend That, which seems to be the latest, what I call stripper rap, seems to be the latest stripper rap song, is probably the hottest, catchiest song out right now. Smooth track, and she's talking about men and women basically robbing people and running scams, right? I haven't listened to the lyrics really hard, but it seems to be a song about running scams. It should be boycotted. I seen her and I see India Irie, who I love, come out really going hard at this record. And I don't know why, because people make it seem like this one song is the death of hip hop. This one song is in a trend of a bunch of sexy red type songs that we've been listening to for the past 3, 4 years. This stripper rap has been really popular. I don't even consider Spend That to be that bad compared to WAP. Now, WAP, which won a Grammy, by the way, to me, that was a wild song. Shout out to Cardi B. Shout out to Megan Thee Stallion. The girls love that song. They all sing it in the club, word for word, but that was wild. I don't even think this Spend That song is that wild. And, they're talking about robbing people. How is that different than Annie Up? Annie Up is wilder than Spend That. Um, and like I said, this is a long line of Cardi B's, Nicki Minaj's, um, Sexy Reds and Glorillas and all of these girls, and go back to Little Kim. Little Kim has said wilder stuff to me than that's what's on Spend That. I don't see why now that song is like have girls clutching their pearls. We was gonna clutch our pearls. There was a lot of pearl clutching that should have happened way back. Um, I don't know. I'm super far behind, y'all, so I'm gonna try to catch up. Do I say that every week? I do. Sad day when Guru passed. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. JT, what up? Get Grasper says, thank you, DJ Kenny Parker. The show is always awesome. Thank you. The music is amazing, especially those old beats are so cool. Yeah, I haven't posted a few in a while. I have bunches of more old beats. The Kenny Parker Beats series, I just was taking a lot of music that I've had in the past like 20 years that's been sitting on discs, sitting in my computer, and I've digitized them and I put them up. So I probably put up about 10 or 12 of them. Some of them have, and I put them on BeatStars for people that want to pick up the beats for real cheap. You could rap on them or do whatever you want to do, use them for background or whatever. I put them on BeatStars, but I have some beats that are samples, which you can't really put them on BeatStars. I mean, you can, but once you start selling a beat even for a cheap price, and then there's some sample in it, it can lead to a headache. So I have a bunch of beats I'm gonna start letting off in my beat series with samples in it. Thank you, Gig Grasper. Matter of fact, I think tomorrow I'm gonna drop one. Um, Patrick Y, Philly C, what up? And congrats on getting Jalen Brown. If Embiid stays healthy, well, damn. They are in the argument for a chip. Too many cooks in the pot, but yeah. Um, I think Maxey would have to change his game. First of all, I'm shocked that Jaylen Brown got traded. Um, doesn't and they've been trying to trade him before, and I think the word is that after they tried to trade him for Giannis, and it didn't work out, the relationship was so fractured that they pretty much was like, let's see what we can get for him, which is a shame because they won a chip just 2 years ago at the Celtics, and he was MVP, and there was MVP talk for him this year. He had the best season of his career this year. I think he's second team all NBA. Arguably could have been first team, and got traded for Paul George. Paul George has been traded for some great players, y'all. Um, he was once a great player, but very disappointing tail end of his career. I mean, he's still talented enough to get it together, but I don't know. But anyway, Jaylen Brown instantly. This to me is a even bigger. I'm more afraid of Philly than I am with Miami. With Giannis and Bam, I am more afraid of Jaylen Brown. With Embiid, Maxey averaging 30. That has to change if they're gonna do something. But congrats, Philly Sheet, man. Y'all got pieces. Parsons says, as a long-suffering Sixers fan, I want LeBron in Philly. No, you don't. No, you don't. No disrespect to LeBron, but that circus that comes with him, and him having to be 1A, a number one option, that was the problem in LA. LeBron is still a top 10, 15-ish player right now at age 41. And because of that, he wants to be treated like that, a franchise player on and off the court. And that was the problem in LA. Once Luka came to that team, it became Luka was the future. And when LeBron was hurt, and some people question whether he was really hurt or was he waiting to see the first 20 games to see how the Lakers were going to look. And he thought the Lakers were going to struggle. He thought the Lakers were going to struggle without him. And then he would come along like, see, I told you. But instead, the Lakers were rocking and rolling. They were the 2 seed in the West without him. LeBron and Austin Reeves were murder. I think they won 17, or what they won, 15 out of 20, 17, some crazy number like that. Then he came back, and the Lakers went on a skid. Austin Reeves got hurt, but LeBron and Luka was not working out. Then Austin Reeves came back, and it was not working out until J.J. Redick, who saw the situation and asked LeBron to be the third fiddle, to let that team, let Austin Reeves and Luka do what they were doing in the beginning of the season. And to LeBron's credit, he took the third role, the third fiddle, and the Lakers started winning again and was the 3 seed. And then Luka got hurt. I say all that to say, LeBron is going to come to Philly not blending in. And with the guys that you guys have now, I don't think you want that, man. I've watched a lot of LeBron in the past 2 years. He's still a good player, but he has to be on the right team. Joey Jones, I agree, don't need LeBron. It would hurt the Knicks team chemistry if he came. Absolutely. Not only would it hurt the chemistry, not only would it hurt the chemistry, I don't think they need him. Let this team run it back. This team is, and also I think it would hurt LeBron's legacy. Because if let's say LeBron came to the Knicks and they went back to back and LeBron got another chip, he would be sitting there going, "You see, I told you I was the greatest of all time. I got 5 rings now." And people be like, "Yeah, he got 5 rings. He's better than Kobe." But if LeBron comes to the defending champions and wins, I'm not with that, y'all. I'm sorry. Um, Gregory Nettis, you sound like the one of my least favorite people on earth, Stephen A. Lakers got too many white stars, and their team, all their 3 best players are white. This ain't 1950s when the NBA stands for no blacks allowed. Man, I think for me, there's 2 places in the world where we can escape to that I believe racism shouldn't matter. Music and sports. To me, if you nice, man. And especially if you're white, and a lot of black people look at the great white hopes with a side eye, just like Gregory Nettis is doing right now, you're going to have to prove it. But if you come into the arena and show that you are nice, you got to get the respect, man. And, dating back to Larry Bird, people was like, no, Larry Bird is just good because he's white. Nah, Larry Bird was nice. And I say all that to say, I don't care what color dudes are. If they can ball, they can ball. I don't care if Luka Doncic is a white dude. White dude, he averaged 34 points a game, 34, 8 and 8 in an all-black league. Austin Reeves is averaging like 25. Come on, man. I don't know. Give me the best. I want the best athletes, and I want to hear the best music. I don't care what you look like. I liked back in the days when you didn't know what anybody looked like. I've said that before on this channel. That song, Video Killed the Radio Star, I think that's one of the truest records ever, truest songs ever. Back in the day before videos and when there was limited videos and we didn't know what anybody looked like, records would just come on and you just rocked. And what you won't do, you do for love. That record will come on and there's a great record and we loved it. We didn't know he was white. We just rocked out. Some of the biggest pop artists of the 80s got their start and they give their credit to black radio, giving them a chance. Hall & Oates, George Michael. If it's good, it's good, man. I wish we didn't know what anybody looked like. I wish we didn't know if you were old, young, fat, skinny, look like a model or not, look like a shoe salesman. I just want to hear the music. So I say all this to say, Gregory Nettis, I do not agree with you there or Stephen A. And with that rant, I'm way behind. But I want to get some of this LeBron. LeBron will truly disrupt the Knicks' chemistry. Knicks can do without him, in my opinion. Absolutely, Sin. Truly disrupt is an understatement. You could see down the stretch in games when we all know it's time for Brunson to cook and LeBron is sitting there, no, let me get the ball. Nah, man. John Lee says, you can't be the greatest and can't lead a team without already proven stars. Basketball is a team sport, I agree. When it comes to LeBron, though, they love to talk about individual achievements only. Well, you could be great and lead a team without stars. It'd just be very hard to win. The NBA has shown that in order to win it all, for the most part, you need one superstar at least another all-star level player and some good role players. I think what Kawhi Leonard did out in Toronto a few years back when they won, I thought that was a superhuman effort. Um, although Siakam was dope on that team. And I think D Wade, that run D Wade was on when they won their first championship, I thought he was spectacular. But for the most part, you need some help. Now, my thing is, that's why I never liked MVP being the best player on the best team. Because sometimes the most valuable player is a guy who took a lottery team and got them to sixth or fifth place in the standings. Without this guy, this team is a lottery, good chance for the lottery. But with him, they made the playoffs and got to the second round and lost. That to me is a very valuable. I could see an MVP in that situation. But I say all that to say, every championship that LeBron has won, there's been some story behind it. Some other person did a lot of hit the big shots, or he teamed up with some other stars and then they won. It's always something with that dude, man. JT said LeBron ain't coming to the Knicks, so no need to even worry. We need to be worried about a center and about that pathetic owner who left us in position to need one. Well, he didn't want to pay, man. Even though he made a bucket of money this year. He didn't want to go over the tax, over that second apron, they call it. So they had to sign 3 guys. They gave Alvarado some money. They gave Shamet some money. And Mitch Robinson was the odd man out. He's what? What is he pushing, 30? I love Mitch Robinson defensively, but he is, you cannot play him in the last 2 minutes of games. Even though he got one of the biggest offensive rebounds in the history of, probably the biggest offensive rebound in the history. No, that's a lie. OG had the biggest offensive rebound in the history of the Knicks. The second biggest was that rebound when Mitch Robinson just walked Wemby under the basket and got that board and secured the win. But in game 5. But Mitch Robinson has some flaws. And I'm not mad at him for going to get his money. Even though he went to the Celtics and a lot of people are beating him up for that, he had to secure the bag for his family, man. If Mitch Robinson don't get, this is it for everybody to get the money on the Knicks right now, while the iron is hot. And he went and took the bag. Now it's unfortunate that Dolan didn't want to pay extra. He got all the money in the world and didn't want to pay extra, but it is what it is. And they're going to miss him. Maybe not a lot, but in some spaces, they're going to miss him. Let me scroll down. Rasmus said, yeah, LeBron had people who weren't even basketball fans talking about him coming to the NBA. Yeah, I mean, LeBron was the best ninth grader in America, best sophomore in America. By his junior year, they were talking about him going pro, and he was the best player in the country, and his games were coming on ESPN. High school games as a junior. I mean, we've never seen hype like that. D Nizzy, what up? All right, I'm going to jump down a little bit because I'm super far behind. I hate it. I hate it. You guys have no idea how much I hate jumping past these comments. Johnny said, Kenny, you have a point about Annie Up. I think because Annie Up is more lyrical and hard on the production, it's accepted. Young Miami was never accepted amongst real hip-hoppers, and rightfully so. I don't like the term real hip hop. Real and not real is relative. But I see what you're coming from. In this day and age, she's not accepted by the generation before her because she's not lyrical. But none of these records right now are lyrical. WAP had some lyrics though. I thought WAP had some tricky punchlines. I don't know who wrote those rhymes for those young ladies, but I thought there were some tricky punchlines in there. But people are losing them, pulling their hair out over this song. Why? It's a whole song about taking people's money. It's gonna corrupt the youth. And now the youth is about to get corrupted. You know, Kim said I used to be scared of the deals. Now I throw lips to the Kim was a wild one. Yeah, because Biggie was a wild one. No disrespect, but I'm just saying. Um, Kim said a whole bunch of wild stuff. Taking in the buns and all kind of things she was talking about. That first album, Hardcore, was crazy. This song is nothing compared to that. Do y'all remember Trina? Go back and listen to You Don't Know Neho. Who did the thing I did? Who I did? Go back and listen to that verse from Trina. Nan is the record. And you come back and tell me if Young Miami's record is shocking. Philly Cheese said, we fleeced Boston. Yeah. They don't want to pay. Boston's ownership is just like Dolan. They don't want to pay. John Lee says, when songs blow up, look at the audience who accepts it. They make the song successful. Yes. It's a time when Miami capitalized off of the current mental state people are in today, their economy. Absolutely. Absolutely. And Dell says, KP, top 10, 15 is about right. Yeah, I think Braun is about, yeah, you know, you can make an argument, but yeah, he's about right there, which is unbelievable for a 41-year-old. And a top 10, 15 player really gets the max or close to it. The max right now is what, 50-ish? Depending on if your team could pay you more. A top 10 to 15 player is getting 45, right? Something is getting at least Austin Reeves money, 40 something. LeBron 1 year, he could have got 50, 45. I don't know if it's worth, I don't know, depends. Rodney Rose, no, I didn't hear Lil Wayne's opinion on Versus. No, I did not hear that. I think Versus has lost some of its steam, though. It was great during COVID. Sidney Rose, love him or hate him, LeBron is a coach on the floor. Bronny's deal is guaranteed. Bronny's deal is guaranteed because once again, LeBron pulled a move. He did not announce to the Lakers that he was leaving till the day after Bronny's deal was guaranteed. He could have said it the day before. He made sure his son got $2 million. It's cool. Throw him out the door. Let me fleece the Lakers for $2 million. He's a coach on the floor. Yeah. He has a very high basketball IQ, excellent passer. But I've seen him really take a lot of plays off on defense. I've seen him pout. I don't know, man. I don't know. We gotta have a whole LeBron conversations. Greg Gannett said LeBron got his feelings hurt and got mad at the Lakers and believe he wanted out. He got his feelings hurt one game because they said it was reported that the same day that J.J. Redick won his 100th coaching game is the same game that LeBron James broke the all-time most played games list. And he was mad because the Lakers owners gave the team the game ball to JJ Redick, his boy. Now, to me, LeBron has so many records, so many game balls. They're going to retire his number probably throughout the league after this. JJ Redick, who a lot of people thought should not have got that job probably because of LeBron. Reached his 100th win in a relatively quick fashion. It was a big milestone. And they gave him the game ball. Who cares, man? Like, to me, if that's the criteria that makes you want to leave, then you're not really built like that anyway. He gave him the game ball and not me. See, these are the kind of narratives that make me be like, nah. KP, if LeBron comes to the Knicks, he's going to steal a spotlight from Jalen. Absolutely he is. He's going to want to be the number one option. Absolutely. And there's a circus. So y'all don't understand the circus, the media. So he got people in the media who says things for him so he could be passive aggressive. LeBron, what do you think about this? I don't know, man. I'm cool. Then he tells his agent or his people in the media to say what he really thinks. When Rich Paul went on his podcast and started saying a lot of bad things about Austin Reeves and different people on the team, it really hurt the chemistry, man. Really hurt the chemistry. You don't want that. I'm telling y'all, I don't want it, man. Napoleon said, what's wrong with retirement? He's still got more. Napoleon, what up, man? He still got more. He's 41 and he's an all-star. And he's chasing. 4 rings doesn't sit well with him. Kobe got 5. Jordan got 6. He needs that other ring to really be able to say, I'm the greatest of all time. And he's chasing. Yo, let him go back to Cleveland and end there. John Lee says, LeBron hurt the chemistry of teams, but I don't think it's his fault. The media hype and talk around him has followed him from high school. He can't control that. Yes, he does control the narrative. He does. He has people in sports media that says things that you could tell where it's coming from. LeBron needs to go to a team where they don't have a great lead player. I agree, but then that would put the pressure on him. See, he wants to go somewhere that's already tailor-made for him to be successful. The way the Lakers are looking right now, he probably should have went back, and he's mad because the Lakers tried to lowball him. The Lakers wanted him back, but not for $50 million. The Lakers are probably saying, take this 20 so we can take this 30 and go get somebody else. And he was like, y'all lowballing me. Then after he leaves, he says, oh, well, now I'm willing to play for a team for the vet minimum just to, to be happy. Now you want to play for the vet minimum? You could have stayed on the Lakers for the vet minimum. And you want to go somewhere where you're happy, meaning you weren't happy on the Lakers. Why? They drafted your son, who was not probably going to be in the NBA at that point. Maybe a couple years in college, Bronny might have got a look from a team. But at that time, 1 year of college, and he wasn't getting drafted. They drafted him and kept him on a team to make LeBron happy, and he still wasn't happy? I don't know. Like Durant going to Golden State hurt his legacy, especially joining that team to beat you in the playoffs. Yeah. Even though, look, Durant was great in those series. I thought the two best players in the world at that time was LeBron and Durant. Looked LeBron eye to eye in that series. But I guess you can when there's Steph Curry and Klay Thompson there too. Um, I think winning them two chips, and Kevin Durant was MVP of the playoffs. I remember him dropping 40 on LeBron and them. One of the great offensive players we've ever seen. I think a top 3 or 4, probably a top 3 offensive player we've ever seen, Kevin Durant. But what happened before and after that Golden State run diminished even the Golden State run. Because everywhere he's been other than Golden State has not worked out well for a player of his caliber. We just got to say it. Um, Rod and Dirty Fish says, I'm Irish and Cuban. I love all the awesome black folks in my life. Agreed, KP. Judged by the content of their game and the field court stage. That's how I look at it. You know, some people may disagree, and there's gonna be people that's gonna unfollow me right now for that. But I agree. First of all, I think racism is one of the dumbest ideologies ever, and it's a trick. It's a trick that the rich people pulled on the poor people. But I'm not going to go there, but I don't care what you look like. The Knicks need a backup center. I don't care what his nationality is. I don't care what his skin color is. Man, if you could give 15 minutes a game to back up Cat and we can get this next ring, I don't care. I don't care if a team is all white, all Asian. I don't care what you look like. If you nice, man. Um, I just heard the super loudest thunder ever outside my window. Sharon Shabbat, Kenny, I know you know racism has taken over the WNBA discourse with Caitlin Clark's fans. Absolutely. They've ruined everything. I just want to enjoy the games. Absolutely. For those that's not familiar with the WNBA, Caitlin Clark is arguably the biggest female athlete since Serena Williams. And her popularity coming out of college, there was a time where she was as big as just about any NBA player. And her first year and a half in the WNBA, first 2 years, everywhere Caitlin Clark played they had to move it to an NBA arena and it was sold out. 20,000 everywhere she went. And it's largely because, and I think she has doubled the WNBA viewership. I think the WNBA was on an upward trend anyway. And they finally looked like they were turning the corner. And because the numbers were going up, they had some of the best numbers they ever had. There was expansion, 2 more teams added. Teams went from 15 million worth. You could get a WNBA team for $15 million. Now it jumped to 100 million a couple years ago. And then Caitlin Clark came and doubled that. Um, and a lot of it has to do with she's a great player. For those that some people be trying to diss and say she's not all that. No, she's all that. She's all that. Um, she has flaws in her game, but she's all that, and she's very exciting and aggressive on the court. But a lot of what made Caitlin Clark so popular is one, the way she plays. She shoots from like 35 feet out, and um, in college she was averaging like 30, and all of this. She's white, and she's a different kind of white than other white girls that have come in the WNBA. She's Midwest white. She played for Iowa. That is as white as you could possibly be. And she's great. And she's straight. And it was like a perfect storm that she came to the WNBA, but she brought, I would say, 1 million or two new fans to the game. I would say 2 million new fans to watch WNBA. And I would argue, I don't have any numbers, but I would argue half of them are, what's the word I want to use? Racist. There's no other way around it. The amount of negative comments surrounding her every move on social media is astronomical. And the death threats and the things that's come with anyone who challenges her, who misses a pass, she throws the ball and somebody misses it, you're getting death threats. Anyone who anybody says is as good as her or better, just the unbelievable racism that comes with it. I think, I wouldn't say it's ruined everything because it brought huge eyes to the WNBA. They're putting up NBA numbers, especially when she's there, when she's on the screen. But it also brought a lot. You can't look at social media when she's involved. And it's unfortunate because she seems like a very nice girl, but her fans, a lot of it is directed towards Angel Reese too. And I'm gonna move on. But yeah, you are correct. Um, Patrick Wise says LeBron's legacy is already damaged. No matter what he does now, it doesn't even matter to me. Being a free agent, he has the right to any team he wants, but his problem is he makes a production. Ever since he did the whole I'm taking my talents to South Beach, it's been a circus ever since then. John Lee says Larry Bird was a killer on the court. Before he had back problems, I don't think people today are the age to remember how great he was. They don't. He did things 40 years ago players aren't doing today. I think Larry Bird would dominate the NBA right now. Dominate. JT, Austin Reeves' contract is terrible. He's a good player, but not great. No way he's worth nearly $50 million a year. Yes, I agree with both of them. I don't think his contract is terrible. First of all, I like Austin Reeves. I've liked him ever since. Austin Reeves, first of all, before Austin Reeves got hurt, when LeBron was hurt and it was Luka and Austin Reeves was averaging 28, 7 and 7. 28 next to Luka. Then he got hurt and he came back and he was playing about 23, 24 points a game. if what is a guy who averages 24, 6, and 5 worth? In this day and age, now keep in mind, first the Lakers offered him, I think, $30 million a year. They wanted a max contract for him, would have been upwards of, he wanted like 48 or something like that. They offered him 30. And a couple of other teams were like, we'll take Austin Reeves, including Detroit, was looking to give him big numbers. And the Lakers said, you know what? First of all, Luka said, I want him. So start there. Your new franchise player, they asked him, what do you need? He said, I want two things. I want a A-list center, and I want Austin Reeves. So the Lakers said, we're going to have to overpay a little for this guy. I think he got 45, 40 something, not 50. He got 45. He probably is a 37, 36 to 40. They probably paid like $5 million a year more than they should have. But I'll say this. If you look at the two biggest stars of their team, and one star says, I want you to draft my son and give him $2 million a year for the next 2-3 years. Or I want you, and the other says, I want you to pay Austin Reeves a little bit more than he wants. I'm going with Austin Reeves. His contract isn't terrible. It's not great. Like you say, he's a good player, but not great. That's what he is. He's a very good player, but not great. But next to Luka, that's what you got to also look at. What fits with him? Joey Joe says, KP, it's good we know what artists look like, because if we don't, music artists will go through the same problems blues artists went through. People getting gigs pretending to be popular artists. Yeah, I mean, that would be a drawback. A guy did that in BDP when Scott first passed away. There was a guy who was down with the crew who was going around doing shows. Him and his man, as KRS-One and Scott LaRock. Nobody knew what they looked like except if you had the Criminal Minded album cover. So they were going places doing shows and getting money as BDP. And long story short, a couple members from BDP stepped to these guys and resolved it. I believe it there. But yeah, that's a problem. But I still say, I wish the music would speak for itself. Then Dale says, KP, Floppy Brown plans to join Chef Curry. We'll see. How far behind am I? Very. Nick signed Drummond. Did he really sign Drummond? He can help fill the Robinson hole. He absolutely could. He's very similar to Robinson. He's a little older now. He's on the back end of his. Could he get 15 minutes a game? Could he give you 15? Better free throw shooter. I really liked Mitch Robinson, by the way, but he has flaws. I like Drummond too. Ulrich says LeBron is one of the few to actually live up to the hype he got. One of the few. In all of sports. Patrick Wise says, I saw LeBron at ABCD camp as a 16-year-old, and he could have played pro then. His court vision was magic. Like, yeah, I heard. At 16, he was already ready to go. Let me scroll down. I'm going to jump down a little bit, see what you guys talking about. When you see me look over here, it's because I'm looking at the time. So I could see how far behind am I. Tired of racism. I've been dealing with it all my adult life. Shaking my head. It will end for good one day. I don't know if racism ends in my lifetime. Something dramatic would have to happen. The only way to me, first of all, racism has been around since the beginning of recorded mankind up until now. The only way I think racism ends is for something that happens that we have never seen before that will unite everyone as a human being. I don't know if it's the coming of Christ or aliens invading Earth. Something to me that hasn't happened yet will have to happen for racism to end. We are so far down the rabbit hole. There's some people that's so entrenched. America is so entrenched in racism. The foundation of America is racism. Everything that goes on has to somehow do with race. Generations would have to pass and new generations would have to come up being taught something different. I hate to sound pessimistic, John Lee, but I don't know what would have to happen for racism to end. It's a shame. Benny Doyle says, good point about LeBron. Drafted his son and still not happy. Traded for Westbrook because he wanted Westbrook. Did everything for this guy. And he's mad because they didn't give him the game ball. Buford Jones, what up? Let's see. Oh, I didn't see this, JT. Sorry. KP, Knicks just signed former All-Star Andre Drummond to a 1-year, $3.9 million. Not sure how I feel about it. That's great. 1 year for $4 million? Wow. That's almost zero risk. $4 million is nothing. 1 year is nothing. Drummond is on the tail end of his career, but he was once a great rebounder. We need 15 minutes a game from Drummond. Can we get 15 minutes? Can we get 6 and 6? 6 and 6 from Drummond and 15 minutes a game. 6 boards might be a lot in 15 minutes, but I'm going to say that. That's a good 3.9. That's great. Veteran, 1 year. I'm with that. I'm with that. Rod Justice, Asia Wilson is still the best by a mile. Shout out to Nafisa Kalia. Shout out to Stewie. But yeah, Asia Wilson is unbelievable, y'all. Rochester, Caitlin Clark's attitude stinks. Among the worst attitudes I've ever seen. She complains more than Luka. You guys know I love Luka. But Luka has 2 flaws to me. Major glaring flaws. One is his defense in certain areas. I don't think he's as bad a defender as people say he is. That's a narrative that's been put out there. Now, I've seen moments where he was like, yo, Luka, come on, man. But this year, with him being in better shape, with guys like Marcus Smart and the coach holding him accountable and LeBron on him, he has been very good. I think he had one of his best defensive years. But his defense in certain spots is a problem. And he complains entirely too much. I think if Luka, there's probably 10 times in a game where I think Luka complained too much to the refs. They didn't call it, it's too much. I think if he cut that to 5 and the other 5, he just ran back, I think it would change his whole narrative. 10 complaints down to 5, and the other 5 just run back, he might be MVP. With that being said, Caitlin Clark is worse than him. She literally throws temper tantrums on the court. And she's passive aggressive because she talks shit and she plays physical. And then when you come back at her, she falls down like a damsel in distress and goes, oh my God, and flops. And then all of her fans go, look at these mean girls beating up on Caitlin Clark. No, Caitlin gives as much as she gets. She's very slick at playing the damsel. But yeah, her attitude is terrible. And it's been like that for a long time. I love Caitlin Clark Jr. in Iowa, but as soon as she got drafted, I saw non-basketball fans find a reason to support. I stopped watching. Lot of non. She is the queen of the casual fan. Sharon Shabazz, Clark is a great passer, yes. Among the greatest to ever do it. Super smart, yes. She takes a lot of chances though. And can shoot it from anywhere, yes. Her defense is awful, yes. Probably worse than Luka's. She's stuck in the mud, but the same could be said about Taurasi, who people call the GOAT. I think Taurasi is the GOAT. And Taurasi's defense is better than Caitlin Clark's. Taurasi she picked her spots to play D. That's what she was. Caitlin has all of the physical tools. She's quick, she's long, she's like 6 feet. And they be she be getting cooked out there. I've seen role players cook her. Rod Justice says, I don't like Angel Reese's nasty attitude either. Me neither. We could do a whole breakdown on Angel Reese too. If she would just be quiet. And I don't like that shut up and dribble stuff, but she is the classic example of shut up and dribble. Benny Doe says swagger. She was so exciting before her fan base showed up. Absolutely she was. She still is. Just don't read the comments. Asia Wilson is a better player than Caitlin Clark. Why are we not talking about her more? She's the truth like Paul Pierce. She doesn't fit the narrative. Asia Wilson is approaching top 2 or 3 status all time. But they play completely different positions. You know, as a guard, Caitlin Clark is right at the top. But I think there's another guard better than her, but I'm not going to cause controversy today. T. Dyson says, Caitlin Clark shoots under the league average for threes and has led the league in turnovers all 3 seasons. Not great. Those are flaws. And again, I think it's because of her aggressiveness. She is nonstop trying to score and pass. Every single time she has the ball, she is trying to make a play. I think she shoots under the league average for threes because of where she shoots it from. I think she's a very good shooter, but she takes at least three step back logo threes per game with a hand in her face. And I think that brings down her average. I think if she took better threes, her percentage would be more. She leads the league in turnovers. That's not good. And that's because she forces a lot of the issue. She also leads the league in assists too. But she takes a lot of chances. And that's what makes her exciting in one hand, but it hurts in another hand. Her coaches be trying to reel her in, and that's where the problems start. Uh, uh, Neved says, if you're a racist, no matter how they try to spin it, you're just a Neanderthal, and more often than not, a useful idiot for people that want nothing more than us to keep fighting with each other. I agree, but a lot of racists are misinformed. They are raised as from children. They are the children of racists. If you're told one thing since you were a baby and no one else told you anything else, there's no way you would think otherwise. There are certain races in the world, a few of them, who hate black people because of what they think black people are like or what they see on TV. But if they got to really, if you got to hang around black people enough, you would see a whole different side, but you never get to see that side. And so you're acting on what you're being told from your parents who are acting what they were being told from their parents. Racism is very complex, y'all, but um, we could get into a whole, I mean, we could be here an hour talking about that. John Lee said, exactly, can Larry Bird would embarrass players today easily. I'm thinking, like, when we say embarrass, first of all, the more athletic you are, the less chance you have to stop Larry Bird. Because he's going to use your athleticism against you. He's great. He was great, man. And the reason I feel like that, watching Jokic and watching Luka dominate right now in the NBA, I see Bird in both of them, and I'm like, he would be just like that. A shorter version of Jokic, a taller version of Luka. He doesn't handle as much as Luka, but he shoots deadly. Larry Bird was a deadly shooter, clutch as they come. I says the KP, power forwards and centers are the strongest position in basketball. Well, first of all, the big man is coming back. Did y'all notice that? The league for the past, the Golden State Warrior era led to three-pointers being the premium. Even if you were a big man, you had to know how to shoot from three. You needed 7 foot swing man, pick and pop, 7-footers shooting threes. But if you look at the last couple of years, starting to get physical, and teams are starting to say, how can we stop Wemby? How can we stop Embiid? How can we stop the Joker? So now teams are looking, and they said, well, damn, there's a team in the East who stopped Embiid and Wemby. How did they do it? They had bigs. Carl Anthony Towns, Mitch Robinson slowed those guys down. So now teams are saying, we need a big, because now we got to beat Towns, Wemby, Embiid, Jokic. Now, all of a sudden, big, strong guys who want to bang and grab rebounds are all of a sudden in style again. I like it. Kurt Music, what up, KP? I sent you a message to your DM about sending the vinyl to your piece. Okay, I will check that out. Sydney Rose, I remember the fake BDP. Yeah, there was some people. I don't want to say too much, but wait a minute. Here we go. Ilroy the MC. Thank you so much for your contribution to the channel. You know, this is much appreciated. Thank you. I can't even express what interacting with the great Kenny Parker means to me. Thank you, bro. Thank you so much for being a regular, long-time regular of the channel. And you know, we're interacting. It's both ways. And I am Kenny Parker. I am not AI for now. We was talking about that the other day. The way AI is going, we're not going to know who we're talking to. DJ Q Storm, what up? Long time, ain't seen you in a minute. Let's see. We're jumping down. Racist will never end. Come on, son. It's in our human nature to have conflict with people that don't look like us. And then certain people prey on that to send you in a direction so you're not looking over here at what the real problem is. There's a real problem over here. But the magician, like I always say, the magic show is they show you the shiny quarter in this hand, and while you're looking at the shiny corner, this hand is really doing the magic trick. The shiny quarter is racism, and we're all looking at it, and the real trick is over here. Rich Shot, imagine being racist in 2026. Yeah, there are tens of millions of people in America who are racist. Tens of millions. There are people that are so racist that they would vote against their own interest to be on the side that looks like them. There are people that say, if I said my policy right now is to come into your house and take everything you have, but I look like you, they'll vote for me. Because I'm like, yo, we all down, right? And I'll come in your house and take everything, including your wife. And you'll still be home with nothing, lonely, saying you made the right decision. That's racism at its purest. Buford says, I think racism is a sickness. I have a whole theory, too much to go into, but nothing good comes from it. I agree with all of that. But it goes back tens of thousands to the earliest stories and writings. There's something in us, too. Human nature. About justice, rats and roaches would end before racism. And they say roaches will survive a nuclear blast. Racism ends when people stop teaching it and all die that teach it. That's the real end. But that's another generation. That's like 2 generations that have to happen. You're talking 50, 60 years. Let me jump down a little bit, y'all. How far behind am I? Man, I fall behind so quick on these comments. Yeah, Sharon says Andre Drummond is about to turn 33. That's not old. For some reason, it feels like he's much older. Yeah, it does. I think that his style of play and the way he looks, and I think he's slowed down a little bit, makes him look like he's older because giving a 33-year-old a 1-year deal is nasty work, as they say. That means you're not sure he's going to make it to 34. We got another super chat. Let me. Ilroy again, thank you. Biz, G-Rap, and Kane erase racism is epic. Yep. Yep. The ink is what he said. The ink is red. But I forgot what Biz was singing. UFOs are real. UAPs. I think so 100%. That's another rabbit hole. That's another whole rabbit hole we can go down. Dolly Parton will stop racism. Everybody loves Dolly Parton now. Dolly Parton might be one of the most beloved figures of all time. She probably could. Riding Dirty says, y'all been wonderful tonight. Thanks for the stream, KP. Be easy, chat. Are you out riding dirty? All right, thank you. I'll catch you on Tuesday, God willing. Sharon says, I agree Taurasi's D is better, but still not great. Absolutely. She is not a great defender. I don't know why more teams don't start the game attacking her. They are now. They're hunting Caitlin Clark right now. Watch who she's guarding. They're going right to the rim. She has to get better at that end. It's one thing when fans are saying racist stuff, but when ESPN and other outlets are doing it, it's a problem. Yeah, Stephen A. And he had a rebuttal. I didn't see what his rebuttal was, but it has something to do with it wasn't racist what I said. Well, what else was it? Yeah, that Laker team is going to be really. If Luka, Austin Reeves, and Kessler play to their potential, 3 white boys, that Laker team is going to be really, really tough. I don't see the problem. It's 9:30, y'all. We are in overtime. For those that's new to the channel, anything after 9:30 is OT. This is the Kenny Parker Show. We do this every Tuesday and Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Big up to the Rewind crew who's going to check this out later on. Normally at 9:30, I jump all the way down to the bottom. I'm going to do that in a second. Caitlin can shoot from anywhere, but usually doesn't make those shots at a high percentage. Look it up. I watched Caitlin Clark since she was a freshman at Iowa. She gets streaky. And that's the thing. She'll get hot and she'll drill some of them. But overall, she takes about 2 or 3 bad ones a game. But her fans want to see that. Her fans, the casuals, I'm going to call them the casuals, would rather see her miss a logo 3 than slow it down a little bit and try to get a good shot. Brooklyn Geek says, lack of exposure to other races and cultures is a huge part of it as well. Absolutely. Segregation only leads to more racism. Orson Welles, War of the Worlds. I hope that's not how aliens come, by the way. So, Kenny, if she's shooting from too far out with people in her face, that kind of sounds like Caitlin is dumb. But no, she makes... I would like to see her percentage just from the logo. I bet she first of all, she's been in a little shooting slump. She has shot in better than what she's shooting now, but overall, I'd like to see her percentage just from the logo. She makes them, and the fact that you have to guard her all the way to that level also opens up a lot of things. I wouldn't say it's dumb. I would say it's not the best shot she can get. Uh, JT says Drummond helps with his 3 points, 63% free throws, similar rebounds to Mitch, but the splits hurts. Mitch is a better offensive rebounder. Mitch is probably the best in the league. He saved us on some big plays with offensive rebounds. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, Mitch is gonna be missed. It's just how much damage you're trying to fix the damage. Sharon says Clark also leads the league in turnovers by a mile, 4.6. That's 3 years in a row. She does take too many chances. As a point guard, a good point guard, you want to have a 2-to-1 assist ratio. So if she's have 4.6 turnovers a game, she to be a good point guard, she should be having 9 assists a game for be 2-to-1 ratio. She's what is she now? She's upwards of 8, 9. She has to come down from 4.6. The numbers make it seem like she's more fluff than substance. But she's a great player. See, I've seen Caitlin go off quite a few times in the league this year. So I'm not gonna. She averages 20-8, 21-8. So she's great, but she does take too many chances. Bebo Jones and what up? All right, let me scroll down to the bottom because we are in overtime. Johnny said I had to heal myself. Shout out to your brother, Kenny. He's one of the greatest to me. He's one of the greatest to me, too. Right up there. What up, Tracy? Tracy says, what Tracy said? I just saw her name go past. Says, thank you again. I don't know what you're thinking, Tracy, but I'm going to thank you for always reminding us to hit the like button. Scrolling down. I'm not that far behind right now. Benny Joe says, Kenny, Paul Simon, me and Julio down by the schoolyard. I remember that song video intro with Kane and Biz and a Spud Webb appearance. I forgot about that. Paul Simon had a few songs that I like. What's the one? I love 50 Ways to Leave Your Love. I got a whole story behind that as a kid. And there's another one. Doom, 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 doom. Oh man, I can't remember the name of it right now. Oh man. It'll come back to me. It'll come back. Vincent Ross, thank you. Just copped the book. Can't wait to read. Thank you so much, Vincent Ross, for picking up the book. I really hope you enjoy the story. It's a wild one. B-Boy Joe, I think we overpaid for Westler, but I do love the Quentin Grimes 4-year deal. You had to overpay for Westler, B-Boy Johnson. This free agent center market was a little thin. And Lakers are in win now mode. Luka Doncic is in his prime, and you need to get him what he needs to be successful. The two probably best centers available in this year's pickings were Kessler and Duran, who the Lakers both went at very hard, but they were both restricted free agents. Meaning, for those that don't know, a restricted free agent means their contract is up, but the team that they're on can match any offer. So You can offer Wessler anything, 20 million, 30 million, 40 million, 50 million. And he could say, that is great. I love it. I'll take it. His team has the right to say, we're matching that. No, you can't have him. That's a restricted free agent. Utah said, we are not giving up Kessler. I think it's Kessler. Was it Kessler or Wessler now? You got me messed up. But anyway, we are not giving him up. We will match any offer. The Lakers are like, we must have this guy. So they decided to not only give him a little more overpay than what he was worth, a little bit, not a lot, but also sweeten the deal for Utah, giving him 4 picks, 2 picks and 2 pick swaps, just to make them come off of their stance that we are not giving this guy up. They wanted this guy, but the Lakers made him an offer they can't refuse. And the Lakers were able to pluck him. And if he's only 24 years old, and if he's the defensive stopper that they say he is, and he matches well with Luka, see, everything revolves around building for Luka. If Wessler is the guy they say he is, it's not an overpay. And imagine he's giving you, well, last year he was hurt, but before he's giving you 12 points, 13 points, and 12 boards and 2 blocks. That's without Luka. Luka makes centers look fantastic. With Luka, he's probably 16, 17, and 12. And he's going to have more opportunities to get blocks because Luka's going to get beat more. But I'm not mad at it. It is an overpay, but I'm not mad. JT said, LG, yep, late in the evening. Good call. Yes, that was the song. Damn, I could not get that out. Doom, 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 doom. That's my jam late in the evening. Shout out to Paul Simon. We're at the very bottom. Walter Kessler, my bad. Yeah, Kessler. You mixed Walter and Kessler and came with Wessler. I understood what you meant. Jack Swagger says Paul Simon's 50 Ways is dope. The way he came up with the song is even doper. I didn't know that. I don't know the backstory of that song. And I love backstories. So I got to look that up. I love backstories. Let's see. I'm at the very bottom, y'all. So I'm seeing comments in real time. ESPN knew they dropped the ball on the greatest high school career ever in Kobe. So ESPN overcompensated and hyping the story of LeBron is all. I don't know. Sometimes it's timing, perfect storms. I didn't see Kobe at Marion High School. He was great, but even as great as he was, the buzz wasn't on him like LeBron. LeBron was the best 9th grader in the country and all the way up. I watched some of LeBron's high school games. It was ridiculous what he was doing out there. I don't know. Maybe they did overcompensate. I don't know, but I think the LeBron hype was real. I think so. TJ says Caitlin got the package shooting thing from Steph, and he doesn't shoot that bad of a percentage. Steph is the greatest shooter of all time. I think Caitlin could come back off of some of them logo threes. I could see later in the shot clock. I could see after she explored everything, but I don't love some of them shots. But when they go in, it looks crazy though. Let's see. Bandor says, I rock Central Park, but do not mistake me for Paul Simon. Yeah, I remember that KRS line. That was dope. Because we rock Central Park. We the first, I believe we were the first act to kick off the Central Park Summer Stage in 91. And they hadn't had an act in a while. Um, we tore Central Park down. JT says, KP, we have such a knowledgeable community here. Yes, we do. And if you can hum it, someone will remember it. Shout out to my producers, DJs, and sample heads. Yes. That's why I always say we need like-minded people. I love the intellectual conversation that we have around here. Sometimes it breaks down into craziness, but I love it. And that's why I kill myself to make sure we're here every Tuesday and Friday, because I really like the exchange. And I like you guys fact check me as well, which is dope. I don't mind fact checking at all. Was Kwame Brown the greatest straight from high school flop? I don't know if he was a flop. Darius Miles is up there. My man from high school, Sebastian, is up there. Sebastian Telfair struggled. But Kwame was a #1 pick, though. I don't like the word flop, but it could be Rod Justice. Mahmoud Abdul Rauf was a great shooter. Quick, hezzy, moving. He was the prototype Steph Curry. He was Steph Curry before Steph Curry. Great shooter. But got blackballed out of the league for standing for his. He stood for his religion, but to the point where he was offensive to other people, I believe. And I believe for sure. I remember seeing him in college, and people forget when Shaquille O'Neal was at LSU, he was the second fiddle. Mahmoud Abdul Rauf was Chris Jackson back then. I seen Chris Jackson score 53 points in a college game. It was one of the saddest things I ever seen, because you know how I feel about defenders being left on an island. They had this one guy on Chris Jackson, and he was cooking this dude so bad. And I remember thinking to myself, are y'all going to switch up the D? Are y'all going to switch up the player? Are y'all going to double team? Y'all just going to leave this guy on an island with Chris Jackson? He had 53. It was crazy. You can go back and find highlights of Chris Jackson 53. It was crazy how he was cooking this dude. Kobe's games are sold out like rock concerts. Kobe would bring the ball up and never pass. Of course, he did that in pros too. Oh. You can't blame Kwame for the Wizards drafting him. He had a long career. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He was okay. He was a role player, but when you're the first pick in the draft can't be a role player. You can't brag about how great a point guard Caitlin Clark and not criticize her crappy judgment. I don't think she has crappy judgment. I think she takes a lot of chances, because the chances that she take could work. They work sometimes. And in college, they worked a lot. But she's playing against grown ass women who have the athleticism to defend her and pick off passes, and the scouting reports. So some of them passes that were great in college are not going to be great in the WNBA, and she should make that adjustment. I wouldn't say she has crappy judgment. I think she takes too many chances. Bounce passes in the lane, get picked off. Player was open for a second, but Not really. Shaq may have been the third fiddle after Stanley Roberts, possibly. Stanley Roberts was at a BDP show. I remember when they was in college, and we did a show in Louisiana. It wasn't at LSU, but it was in that area. It was Too Short and BDP, and Stanley Roberts was in the crowd. I remember that. JT, this is a good one. Mahmoud was the real one. Yeah, his skill set was crazy. Yes. He did a great interview on All the Smoke on YouTube. He addressed a lot of the questions. I got to go see that. Um, let's see. Denise said KP Cold Crush used Paul Simon's songs in the routines. 50s Waves was one of them. I didn't know that. That's dope. Um, Philly She said that's bad judgment. Taking chances is not bad judgment. It's high risk, low reward sometimes. Throwing behind the back passes is, to me, for the most part, very risky. But when it gets there, it looks dope. But when it gets picked off, you're like, what are you throwing the behind the back pass for? She averages 4.6. She has the first of all, when you have the ball a lot, you're gonna have turnovers. I think she should get that down to around 3. I think she should be averaging 8 to 9 assists with 3 turnovers for the amount of time she has the ball. 4.6 is too much. We're in overtime, y'all. Um, let's see. I'm at the bottom. I'm just trying to get some good comments, see what you guys are talking about. Um, Marquise said number 63 on the check-in. Thank you, Marquise, for hitting the thumbs up. That's funny. Hank Gathers gave 44 to Shaq when LMU played LSU. Yo, that was a crazy team. That Loyola Marymount team was crazy. That was such a sad story of Hank Gathers dying on the court. The way they played, yeah, him and Bo Kimball, he gave Shaq 44. But they shot, what was it, every 5 seconds or less, a shot went up. They played zero defense. They felt like they could outpace you. They felt the pace that they went at, the score was going to be 130 something to 1 something. They didn't believe anybody could score 130 points in a college game, 120. They were very happy to win games 125, 110, 120. So that was their whole MO. We're getting a shot up in 5 seconds. And it was dope for the most part. Uh, Philly, she said most players don't have that magic thing. Yeah, I agree. But you could be a John Stockton. John Stockton was a great point guard who had a lot of assists and low turnovers. He wasn't flashy. He just got the ball to the people who needed to get it every time. Boring, but very effective. If Caitlin Clark didn't play the way Caitlin Clark plays, she would not be the star that she is. But when you're a coach trying to win, you can't have that. Ty Dyson always says taking too many chances equals crappy judgment when that's all you do. It's not all she does. Come on, y'all. She averages 21 and 8. In the WNBA, that's like third in the league in scoring. In a 40-minute game, she's getting 21 and 8. That's great. And I think if her judgment was like, I think I'm going to throw an alley oop to Tiffany Mitchell from half court. That's bad judgment. But I think if Tiffany Mitchell has a backdoor step and I see her and I throw it quick and somebody picks it off, she was open for a second. Somebody picked it off. I don't think it's bad judgment. I just think sometimes you got to say, no, let me not throw that. But I get what you guys are saying. Um, that should be a question for next week. Is taking chances crappy judgment? John Stockton is one of the most efficient players, if not the most. Yeah, but he also is passing to Karl Malone, so add that in the mix. See, I'd like to see a guy like that on a bad team or a mediocre team, and then let's see. Um, A Boogie said, I just came from watching Olivia Miles in Minnesota versus the Liberty at the Barclay. Oh, that's dope. Olivia Miles is another high risk, high reward, low risk reward type player. That's why I didn't really care for her at Notre Dame. Everything has to be a highlight reel with her. But she's playing fantastic right now. Fantastic. I didn't see Olivia Miles playing like this. Creed Jedi, what up? We're in OT, y'all. I'm going another 5 minutes and then I'm out. Stewie put up 36 tonight. Damn, Stewie, she got out the belt. Talk about efficient, great player. Stewie is a great, maybe the best small forward ever. You can make an argument for that. You know, respect to Cheryl Swoops, respect to Maya Moore. Stewie could be the best three. She play the three? She plays the three mostly. Um, yeah. I might say that. I might have her over Maya Moore. City Rose says, y'all make the WNBA sound interesting. Need to check it out. It is interesting. If you like, see, I'm a basketball head. I can watch basketball at any level. I'm not a casual. And I don't look at basketball like if you don't dunk, it's not good. I look at different levels. I look at NBA as NBA. I look at college as college. High school as high school. Women as women. Even like I could watch young kids like bitty basketball. Like I could watch um 10 years old and under, and I could be like, that kid right there is nice. Um, and WNBA has great players, great storylines, and it's old school basketball. It's not positionless ball. There's guards, forwards, centers, power forwards like that. And Caitlin Clark fans think she is the greatest of all time. The WNBA is only there to suit her. If she leaves, the whole league would fold, and everyone else sucks but her. And it gets annoying after a while. She is not the greatest of all time. She's not even the greatest player in the league right now. Last year she was hurt, but I would say you could argue top 5, 6 player right now. Um, and in history, there's been some great players, but it is interesting. You should give it a chance. Um, Stewie plays the 4. Well, they're a 3-guard offense. They've got, let's see, who usually starts? Sabrina, and the ideal starting 5 for the Liberty would be what? Sabrina. Marine doesn't start anymore. I'm trying to think of the guards. John Cole Jones is the center. Because it usually is like John Cole Jones, Stewie, and another big for the most part. That's why I said she plays the three. Oh, that's what's the tall girl? There's a 6'4" shooter that be shooting in the corner. My names be killing me. She plays the three. So you know what? Stewie could be playing the four right now. Um, but normally she's at the three. Sharon says WNBA is beautiful basketball. They still play defense. Yes, they do. Although the chucking of 3-pointers that's in the NBA has made its way to the W. Yes, that too. All of the above. Isaiah says, KP, I missed the old WNBA. Well, what do you mean by old? Before and after Caitlyn? If Caitlyn got a black boyfriend, her fans would turn on her, Gregory Netters. Her racist fans. Yes, her racist fans for sure. Part of her appeal is her being the quintessential white girl. Rich says Larry Bird is a legend, but as a Laker diehard, Larry was an op in LA. He was an op in New York too. As a Knicks fan, he was an op. But I gotta call it the way I see it, man. I gotta call it the way I see it. This is funny. Rod Justice said, I got like 1 minute. I watched an all-black female high school team from Washington, D.C. catch a beatdown from all-white female team from Virginia, and I never watched another high school game again. Yeah. Especially in women's basketball, the gap, but at the athleticism gap between the white and the black players is less. So there's more white players that's good in the W. The athleticism gap in the NBA is seems to be a lot greater. Um, all right, we're at the bottom. Never a Bird fan had to respect this game. Had to respect it, man. I seen Bird has given it to your favorite player multiple times. Let me make this a little smaller. Make sure I got all the chats. I got all the chats and Caitlin Clark should seriously consider WNBA departure, go play overseas. See, I disagree with that. She would fade. She would fade. The WNBA is there for a purpose. And she brought the WNBA a huge amount of fans that was able to see her right out of college. Um, why should she leave the WNBA? Because what? Because they don't coddle her. Those girls, women in that league are there to win. They trying to bust her ass, as they should. They throwing elbows, everything. She doesn't need the money. She doesn't need the money. Her endorsements are ridiculous. She didn't need the money her senior year in college. She was a multimillionaire before she even came to the league. Um, but yeah. I said, KP, do you collect obscure 45s or funk soul R&B? I collect 45s. I don't know about obscure so much. I have a few obscure. I collect breaks, all hip hop, R&B, all that funk. Yeah, but I don't know about obscure, but I do collect. Yes. All right, y'all. Yeah, Phoebus. Damn, Tyson. Phoebus is a girl who shoots from the corner of 3, 6, 4. I know it's spelling. Yeah. Phoebus. I could not remember her freaking name. And Sabali is there. She's almost a 3 as well. The league overall is physical. Clark has even hit players upside the head. Caitlin Clark has hit a whole bunch of people. She gives as much as she can take. That's why, that damsel in distress stuff is fake. Caitlin Clark can handle her own. Don't feel like, you know, they're beating on her. No, she's tough. All right, y'all. I'm out of here. It's 10 o'clock, man. It's after 10 o'clock. God willing, we will be here on Tuesday. And I'm going to post another beat this week from the collection and try to finish this epic fail. 2 things I need to do this weekend. All right, y'all have a safe 4th of July. All right, I'm out.